Next, we dive into a JVC HRD725. This is a hi-fi VHS with linear Dolby stereo soundtracks. Now this one doesn't work. Let's see why. Complaint on it is does not load, does not play. So we'll pop the top off this one before we get into it. Let's power it up and see what it does. So it does accept the tape. And it doesn't finish the loading cycle. And then it shuts down. More than likely the loading belt is bad. Let's try fast forward and rewind. And then of course it kicks the tape back out. Fast forward. So the idler tires sounds like it's slipping a bit, although it's working now. And rewind is working, so the idler tire is not slipping too bad. Let's check the loading belt out. And this one should lift up. There's the loading belt on this one. This one's really easy to change. We'll see it slipping. Let's turn on the power. We have to lubricate that. There's a worm gear on there too that needs to get lubricated. Play. That belt slips. Let's give it a hand. Complete the loading cycle. And it's playing, and I now have a picture, so that means the machine works, other than that belt is bad. And we'll see if we get sound. We should have sound. I just have it turned down.
Offer includes 100.
Where's my tracking?
With the and dollars in accept purchase of a Lifestyle Aid home theater system.
There we go.
Arriving in your stores will be support materials to further promote this value offer to your customer.
Okay, so this machine's working other than the loading belt, so let's get in there and change that loading belt. This should be it, and lubricate the worm gear. Be a pretty simple one. So let's eject the tape. Let's see it down here. Changed lots of these ones over the years. This is probably one of the easiest machines to change the belt on. And the belts wear out, but really what happens is the grease down here on this black worm gear, it dries up and it causes it to stick. So there actually is a fair bit of torque on the belt. It is slipping though. So let's see if I can find a belt. I bet you I've got one. Or one that will work good enough. These ones are so simple. You just do that. How much simpler could it be to change a belt than that? You know, 2 screws. Take the top cover off and 2 screws. Real simple. Now, hopefully, I've got one. I have one that's a little bit smaller. So let's go with that. What was nice about these machines is that you could prop them open, just use a screwdriver and find a place to, I have the power off now, but find a place to put a screwdriver in, and it would hold that circuit board out of the way so that you could work. The new belt just slips around the pulley. And around the motor, just like that. And then we're going to put some Moly Coat grease down onto that worm gear as it's pretty dry. And that should make this machine happy for a few more years. As you can see, that gear is dry. We'll put some moly coat right down onto the teeth of the gear here so that it will lubricate those teeth. Some more down over here. Okay, that is probably more than enough, and it will work its way through that gear completely once I power it up and thread up a tape. So let's do that. There we go. Now I'll just get the grease into the threads of the gear here. There. I'm going to put some more down in here. Let me get some more grease in the way here. There we go. Okay, just got to clean this machine and I think we're good. Make sure all the other features of it work while I'm at it, like search forward. Yep. Search forward's working. How about search reverse? No, that was multi-speed. How was this one? Here we go. Search forward, search reverse. Pause. Single frame. And eject. Clean the head with a piece of paper soaked in isopropanol and just turn the head counterclockwise. No, I didn't get a shock. The power's off. Something just stuck in my hand. A sharp piece of wire. The power is completely off. Yeah, I would say that one definitely needed a good cleaning. We'll do the same for the audio control head. Get a Q-tip. On the tape guides. and the tension roller and pinch roller and capstan. It was also relatively dirty. Cassette tapes falling down. Okay, we'll do another test on this machine and make sure everything's still working on it. Power on. Here we go. Tracking control. Soft and sharp. Bring up all that noise from the plasma. And audio output. Whoops. That was the stop button. Now this has got oh, you know what? This machine has two sets of outputs on the back. It has a hi-fi only, and it has one that you can switch between linear and hi-fi and actually mix them. There's a control on the front. This is something you don't see much. Dolby on the linear soundtrack, because it's got linear stereo and hi-fi. I believe this one. Yeah, this is linear stereo, so it's got 4 soundtracks. It's got your 2 hi-fi soundtracks, plus it's got 2 tracks of AM radio. So the audio out monitor, there's a control here. I'll show you guys it so you can see it. So this is, of course that didn't go as planned. You got a control here. So you can go to the hi-fi soundtrack, or you can mix the two of them together, or go to the normal soundtrack. And then you can select whether you want to listen to the left channel, the right channel, or both. That switch is kind of noisy, isn't it? That's getting a bit better. It can also, that was smart. I set my remote control down on the bench where there was some crazy glue that spilled, and it was gluing my remote down to the bench. That was smart. On the for recording, you can record. I guess it'll do audio dubbing. You'll do insert video editing, and it has a switch here for insert only for video, and then you can dub the audio left, or the left and right, or audio right. So for the linear audio, you could dub either the left or the right or both. And then over here for the hi-fi, I guess this is for the monitor. This is the monitor here, left, right, or left plus right. And again, the mix and hi-fi output. but that only affects the mix and hi-fi output jack on the back. There's one that's hi-fi only. There's another neat feature on this thing. I didn't even realize that until I was looking at it, but and this is not the person that owns it. Somebody, I guess he bought it from this person. Push the panel open, and this is where you would set, you know, for programming it to record from the tuner. Has a hi-fi soundtrack and manual level control, counter for counter or time remaining, counter reset, channel up and down, instant record, tape run. There's a light on that's flashing, can't see it, but there's a green light that's flashing here that the tape is actually moving, and that is that's it. So this one is fixed. Nice simple machine to work on. This JVC was one that I liked, this particular chassis. This was one of the first generation, and it was well laid out and easy to work on. Looks like there's a bit of corrosion on the board there, doesn't it? Looks like something may have spilled onto the board at some time at one point. Oh, you know what? I sound corrected. That's the circuit glue. Someone's scraped the circuit glue off here. That's that crappy circuit glue that's also on the bottom. That had become problematic. Somebody has removed it. It has started to cause problems. That circuit glue got peeled off there. I'm wondering whether I should maybe do that on that board on the bottom, because it is something that will... Yeah, let's take that off. At some point down the road, that circuit glue is going to cause a problem. So, but you can see here what it's done. You see, you can see it. It's been corroding away. And it's even changed the color of the solder mask. Someone's picked that off because it's a problem. This stuff hasn't gone bad yet, but it will eventually. It's starting to go. You can tell by the color. This stuff was like a yellow. It was almost the color of this paint when it was applied. And it turns to a kind of a brownish color, and then it'll eventually turn into like a crisp, like a crusty brown color when it goes really bad. So when you see this stuff, it's always best to just kind of, you know, get it out of there. Get it out of there before it causes problems, because it will. Gotta be careful when you're doing this that you don't damage the circuit board. So it's kind of like just to get under the glue, peel up the corner, and then try to pinch it between the screwdriver and your finger and lift it and let it stretch and break, because you could damage the board if you're scraping the board. So it's sometimes this stuff can be a pain in the ass to remove. Once it's turned brown and gone conductive, it comes off actually easier because it's brittle. You just scratch it and it'll just break off and come off in chunks. Right now it's still kind of rubbery because this particular glue here hasn't gone. And probably the stuff on the top went faster because it's hotter up there. You know, the heat from the power supply rising and everything trapped under the cover. On the bottom here it's relatively cool. So it's heat and humidity and that makes this stuff go bad. So circuit boards that get hot, it tends to fail a lot sooner than boards that don't. So that's got most of it. There's one little piece back here still. The loading mechanism's in the back. I'll get some light in there so you guys can see. This one doesn't actually use a mode switch. I just want to show you guys something on this one. This is an optical mode switch, optical sensor. And the wires are relatively short here, so we'll try to show you guys. Right back here, that is the optical sensor, right back there. It monitors this cam gear. As this gear rotates, there's holes in it, and there's photo sensors on here, which is basically an LED and a photodiode interrupter. A little bit more down here on this board. So now the unit's back together. One final test. The unit is playing. When I put the top cover on, these lines that you see in the picture, it's caused by the plasma. They should go away from the shielding effect of the top cover. Once I get the ground screws in, it won't do anything if it's not grounded. So once I get a screw or two in here and it makes a connection to ground, that should go away. That screw's not grounded. One of these screws will be grounded. One of them should be grounded. Maybe they're not. Maybe the metal cover is just for show. One of these screws should go into something that's grounded, I would think. Maybe not. Again, when these VCRs were around, we didn't have interference generating devices called plasma panels. Anyway, it's fixed. Thanks for watching.